Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into something, well, pretty personal for a lot of people, how marriage and divorce are changing in modern India.
Yeah.
We'll be looking at insights from sources like Decoding Divorce, Law, Love, and Modern Marriages. The idea is to help us all kind of grasp these shifts, and what they mean for commitment itself.
Definitely. And it's important, I think, to frame this right. It's not about criticizing marriage, it's more an exploration.
Right.
Because, look, divorce often feels like an ending, right?
Yeah.
But really understanding these trends, maybe getting good legal advice, it can actually help people build better relationships in the first place. Or, if things do end, navigate it more peacefully. It challenges that idea that lawyers are just there to, blow things up.
Yeah.
We're aiming for truth here, understanding, not judgment.
Okay, so let's start unpacking that. There's this striking contrast that jumped out from the sources. India known for huge arranged marriages, big celebrations, strong families.
Traditional picture.
Yeah, but the reality seems, well, different now.
It really does. The numbers, they tell a story. Divorce rates were tiny, less than 1% back in 2000.
Wow, okay.
Now,
Yeah.
in urban India, we're looking at maybe 3-5%.
Yeah.
And in big cities, Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi, it's even starker. Almost 1 in 4 marriages ending within just 7 years.
1 in 4 within 7 years. That's
shit.
Huge.
It is. And what's fascinating is why. A decade ago, it was often, serious issues like abuse or someone just leave, desertion.
Right, the more extreme cases.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But today, the number one reason we see again and again is just incompatibility.
Incompatibility, that feels broad.
It is broad. But what it often means is couples meet, maybe on apps, things move fast, they get married quickly.
Yeah.
And then, they realize their basic values, their life plans. They just don't match up. Despite all this modern connection, finding that fundamental alignment, it seems harder. And that's leading to, this new kind of fragility in marriages.
Incompatibility. It makes you think, what's really going on underneath? What are the deeper things, maybe things we don't even notice, that are causing these breakdowns?
Yeah.
We need to look past the surface. Right?
Absolutely. Why are marriages breaking so easily? In my legal experience, I see these patterns. I call them the 5 quiet killers.
Quiet killers.
First, unrealistic expectations. The Bollywood idea. Love conquers all.
No, not yet.
The love without real understanding. It crashes pretty fast against real life. Second, poor communication. And it's not always fighting. Often couples just stop talking.
The silence.
Exactly. Silence becomes the enemy, just erodes intimacy. Third, money stress.
Yeah.
Big one. EMIs, loans, maybe a job loss, even just big differences in what each partner earns. It builds resentment. Quietly, but it builds. Fourth, believe it or not, interference from in-laws. Still a major thing. I had this one case, the husband called his mother every couple of hours for advice. His wife just felt like a third wheel in her own home. And fifth, lack of space and sort of identity. This hits women hard sometimes, especially if they leave work after getting married. They lose that independence, and that loss, it can turn into anger.
It's striking, isn't it? None of those are necessarily one big dramatic event. They're slow burns.
Precisely. Small pressures, constantly applied, they wear things down. So when couples come to you, are they often surprised? They didn't realize how much these quiet killers were actually affecting things?
Very often, yes. By the time they're talking to a lawyer, these issues have been simmering for years. Sometimes they haven't even named them. Let me give you a couple of real examples that makes it clear.
Okay.
There was this tech couple in Gurgaon, met at work, married inside a year. He was a night owl, she was an early bird. Simple stuff, right?
It's minor.
But they fought about it. Then they stopped fighting. Just silence. They got a mutual consent divorce after only 13 months. No big drama, just sadness, really.
Just drifted apart that quick.
Oh.
Then a woman in Bhopal. Her husband kept making fun of her, cooking in front of their friends, publicly mocking her.
Ouch.
He said, it's just a joke. But she filed for divorce. The court actually called it emotional abuse, granted the divorce, gave her maintenance.
So the court recognized that kind of joke as harmful?
It did. And one more, post-COVID.
Yeah.
Husband just stopped working. For 2 years, relied totally on his wife's income.
Wow.
When she finally asked him, can you please contribute? He just said, that's your job now.
Seriously?
Yeah. So she left, took their child, got custody, got alimony, and she said she got her dignity back.
These stories, they're not like old-fashioned villain stories, are they? It's more like value mismatch stories, like you said, so relatable, sadly.
Exactly.
And speaking of navigating this stuff, the legal side, it just feels so complicated, like a maze for most people. Can you maybe simplify the divorce law in India a bit for us?
Yeah, let's try. It's not as scary as it seems once you understand the basics. The most common route is mutual consent divorce. That's Section 13B, Hindu Marriage Act.
Okay, mutual consent.
Key thing, both partners have to agree. There's usually a waiting period, minimum 6 months, though sometimes the court can waive that.
Yeah.
But the big plus, no blame game.
So it avoids pointing fingers.
Right. The system actually encourages that, an amicable split. It reflects a shift, away from just blame, towards helping people transition peacefully. That's the real insight there.
That's good to know.
Then you have contested divorce. That's when one person files based on specific grounds, things like cruelty, desertion, adultery, impotence. These can take a long time, years sometimes.
Right, the messy one.
Can be. And there's this myth, right, that divorce law favors women.
Yeah, you hear that a lot.
It's just not true. Courts look at needs, financial needs primarily, not gender. And with kids, child custody decisions are always about the child's best interest, often leads to joint custody or at least clear visitation rights for both parents.
That's a really important clarification about needs versus gender. So the message is, understand the system, don't just fear it.
Exactly. Get informed.
Which, leads right into the big question. Can divorce actually be prevented? Are there things people can do proactively to build stronger marriages?
Absolutely. And that's really the most crucial part, isn't it? Prevention. There are definite strategies. First, and this is huge, talk here. Before you tie the knot.
Before, not after things go wrong.
Yes. Have those honest, sometimes awkward conversations. Values, career plans, kids, yes or no, money, how much personal space do you need? All of it.
Get it all out there.
Yeah. Second, normalize therapy. Seriously. It's not just for couples in crisis. Strong couples can use it too. Think of it like maintenance.
Like a tune-up.
Exactly. Keep the connection strong. Third, share financial responsibilities. Empowering both partners financially is so important. Reduces that resentment factor we talked about. Fourth, respect boundaries, especially with in-laws. Know where the lines are.
Crucial.
And fifth, maybe underrated. Focus on friendship, not just the romance. Passion fades, right?
Yeah.
That solid foundation of friendship is what lasts.
That focus on friendship, it makes so much sense. It's funny, people spend months, like 6 months, planning a wedding.
Right, the party.
But not the actual marriage. That intentionality you're talking about seems key. You mentioned therapy for maintenance. What's like a small way a couple could try that without feeling like something's wrong?
Oh, simple stuff. Maybe attend a weekend workshop on communication skills together. Or even just do, say, 3 sessions with a therapist to talk about your goals for the next few years. What do you both want?
Proactive goal setting.
Exactly. It's about tuning up the car before it breaks down on the highway.
That's a great analogy. And, speaking of systems, you said earlier lawyers don't just end things. Are the courts changing too? Are they trying to help couples heal or reconcile sometimes?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
There's a shift happening. I've seen couples actually reconcile during mediation, which the courts actively encourage now.
Mediation, okay.
And there's something called judicial separation. It's basically a court-sanctioned cool-off period.
Like pressing pause, not stop.
Perfect way to put it. A pause button, not a full stop. It gives couples space, time to think, without the finality of divorce. It's not meant as a punishment.
Interesting.
And more you see judges actually suggesting therapy or counseling before jumping into full-blown litigation. It shows the legal system is starting to think more holistically, trying to facilitate real resolution, not just hand down verdicts.
That feels like a really positive, hopeful development.
It is.
So as we kind of bring this deep dive towards a close, if you had to give, say, 3 short, punchy messages to young people navigating all this today, relationships, marriage, what would they be?
Okay, 3 things. First, don't rush into marriage. Rush into knowing yourself first.
Power.
A second, marriage is a legal contract. Respect it.
Okay.
And third, divorce is not failure, but don't use it like an app reset button.
That second one, marriage is a legal contract. Respect it. That's maybe not how people think about it initially, is it? What does respecting the contract mean day to day?
Well, it means, remember, it's not just about feelings. It comes with real legal and financial responsibilities.
Right.
It means being conscious of what you're signing up for and what it takes to actually uphold those commitments, both the spoken and unspoken ones. It's about accountability, and that actually builds trust in the long run.
Accountability. That makes sense. Thank you. This has been incredibly insightful, really.
Glad to share.
So for everyone listening, whether you're single, dating, married, maybe separated. The takeaway seems to be this. Relationships, real ones, they aren't built by big ceremonies.
No?
They're built day by day, by kindness, by honesty, by growing together and as individuals. Thank you so much for sharing all your expertise today.
My pleasure.
And to you, listening, here's a final thought to maybe mull over. How can understanding these changes in marriage and divorce law actually empower you? Not just in romance, but in how you understand all the commitments you make in life. Something to think about. We really hope this deep dive helps you feel more well-informed.